So I want you all to get a clear understanding. But let me be clear about something, because I don't want nobody to mess around and find out. My personal space is my personal space. You don't get to get in my personal space. You don't get to come ask me questions. You don't get to do any of that. You get to stay out of my personal space. Now, I get it. You all on your adult politics page showing just how ignorant and immature you all are. And the stuff that you guys do, it speaks volume about the leader that you are supporting. Because you will never see people that support me out acting the way a lot of you all act. And the sad part about it is a lot of you seniors, it's embarrassing the way a lot of you guys act. You all really need to grow up and get yourselves together. But I'm gonna be clear about this thing. Do not get me mistaken, and do not, listen, I'm just telling you, don't be fooled. Don't mess around and find out. Do not get in my personal space. Don't come with me with no bad energy. Don't do any of that. That's all I'm saying. Now, we can run this race. Yes, I'm going to be dropping receipts. Yes, I'm going to be doing my videos. Now, if you are so strong about your candidate, and if you are so confident in your candidate, it doesn't take all of that. See, when you got people being messy, being nasty, calling people all out of their names, I said, you should, and y'all think I don't see the garbage that you posted in the Adult Politics page? Every post comes to me. You don't know who I know that's in that page that's watching it. So it just shows a lot about what type of leadership we would have in office. This stuff is ridiculous. A lot of you guys need to grow up. You guys are so immature. It's unbelievable. And all those folks with all this keyboard energy and all this negativity, when they see you in person, they can barely hold their head up, because that lets you know they're all about mess and gossip and all this other crazy stuff. You should be glad someone is running for mayor and giving you an option and trying to help build this village back up. Like, make this stuff make sense. You guys are so hell-bent on crazy stuff. If you are confident about your candidate, then be confident about your candidate, but carry yourself with grace and dignity. You guys are an embarrassment. And it's the same little group of people that comes to the meeting, but make no mistake, I'm not Tiffany Henyard. You will not get up in my personal space. I'm just telling you, because that might not work out well for you. So let's not do that. You don't get to approach me. You don't get to do any of that.
Wow.
Now, I believe things should be done decently in order. Now, if you know you are not for me, I'm fine with that. Listen, when I started this journey, I knew everybody was not going to be for me, and I'm fine with that. What do I care about you all's opinion about me? Wow. It does not matter. Do you understand? What you think about me is none of my business. That's you and your feelings and your perception and your emotions. All I can say to you is get over it, because I could care less. I could care less at all. But what we will not do is be disrespectful and get in my personal space. I'm just telling you, that might not work out so well for you. Let's not do that, okay? Because I don't want to have to go there, and you don't want me to have to go there. Do you understand? So listen, we're in a race, and it's fine. If you're so confident about your candidate, Jason House, then be confident about your candidate. Y'all out here acting a bunch of fools. Like, what are you fighting over? Help me to understand. What are you fighting over? Like, when I look at a lot of these people, you ought to be wanting somebody to come in and help you build this thing back up. Y'all are one paycheck from being homeless. When you look at this village, you look at all the stuff that's going on, you ought to want somebody that's going to help. Now, y'all rooting for a person that helped bring the destruction to the village. Like, what kind of juice or brainwash stuff that you guys are drinking? Like, it makes absolutely no sense at all. But I'm saying tonight, let's be clear on one thing. I don't care who you support. Don't get up in my personal space. Don't get up in my face, because I'm telling you now, that ain't gonna work out well for you. It's that simple. How are you so mad about me running for mayor? What sense does that make? You just make sure your candidate win. That's all. Like, do you see my people out here acting a fool? Because we don't see your people. We don't see your people. We know how to conduct ourselves. We understand we're running a race. We understand it might get a little touchy and little feelings or whatever might get involved. But do you see any of my people out here acting a fool the way you see Jason House people out here acting a fool? As a leader, I would be embarrassed, because anybody attached to me, I would not allow them to act that way. So that speaks a lot about leadership. It speaks a lot about the people that you have around you. You have to understand you are the company you keep. So if they're messy and all of the above, then you are what they are, because you are the company that you keep around you. So let's make this clear, people.
That woman don't make no sense.
I ain't going nowhere. I'll see you on April the 1st. You understand that?
Like,
look at how the elderly folks act. You can't even respect them for the way they act. This is ridiculous. Women in their 60s and 70s just acting a flat out nut, acting a flat out fool.
Wow.
It is ridiculous. It is embarrassing. How can we teach the younger folks when you got old silly fools and they're just acting an old fool? Yeah, I said it. I don't care if you don't like it. I said it.
Does she not realize herself?
You all are supposed to be seasoned with grace. You're supposed to teach the younger folks. But when we see our older folks acting a fool, it is embarrassing. Flat out embarrassing. You all are the ones that's supposed to be teaching the younger generation. But then you got your people up there that you're rooting for. They feeding off of you all acting a bunch of fools. They feeding off you all getting online, acting a fool and cussing folks out and calling people all out their name and all that other stuff.
That's what you're doing, though.
Y'all are embarrassing. It is embarrassing. Like, flat out embarrassing. Well, Miss Melinda, if you want to know what I'm talking about, it's embarrassing how people are acting. Clearly, you got itching ears and you want to hear. So, yes, y'all act stupid. I said it. And stop acting stupid. Don't give me a reason to call you stupid. Your actions are stupid. Anytime you go in a meeting and keep up chaos and havoc, and then you get pissed off if somebody call you what you're acting, then grow up and stop acting stupid. But what you will not do is get in my personal space, because that won't work out well for you. Now, share the video. You got an earful. Share the video.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
May have been altered in order to protect the privacy of individuals. Thanks for listening.
Coming up.
I've been in this community, it'll be 17 years. I've been here for 17 years. And the 17 years I've been here.
If I could serve my country during this desert storm, if I could protect you while you sleep at night, then running a village is small chips compared to what we have been through and seen in this world. And if you have never been in those situations, you would never know or never understand.
I am one of those middle-class working people. So what about us? Who focus in on the middleman? Our middle-class working people that often get left out, that often gets left behind because everybody's focusing on the seniors. What about us? And I'm a middle-class working person, so I can identify with them. And a lot of them are like, we often get left behind. Nobody ever speaks to us. We never see anybody come knock on our doors. What about us? And that's where my campaign has been focused on. Let's relieve the load of the middleman, because the middleman is the one that's footing the bill in America. The seniors, because majority of the seniors, they're on fixed incomes. The majority of them are retired. And the majority of all of them, at least 99% of them,
they get tax breaks, because once you hit a certain age, you get a tax break. And one of my main focuses is bringing businesses into this village, getting that downtown area filled with businesses in other desolate areas that has a lot of empty spaces.
Am I the only one hearing this? Comment below.
And as you can see straight ahead, this is downtown Dalton. And these are houses that people have called about. They have inquired about. They've written complaints about. And yet nothing. So here is another set of houses that's been sitting in this village for God knows how long in this condition. And these set of houses is literally right behind downtown Dalton. So as you can see, the bottom of this house is taken away or eaten out by the rodents and the possums and the raccoons. Look at it, rough, caved in, raccoons, possums. I wouldn't doubt if it might be a body or something hid up in this stuff.
Getting that downtown area filled with businesses in other desolate areas that has a lot of empty spaces. Let's get businesses in here so it can relieve the load of the middle class working person. We have to just stop focusing in on the seniors. Now, I love my seniors. I do, but we have to also focus in on the middleman. Not the poor, it's not the it's not the seniors, because majority of the seniors, they're on fixed incomes, the majority of them are retired, and majority of all of them, at least 99% of them, they get tax breaks.
And I want to be very, very clear. Yep. Food for Less has partnered with us.
She loves to be partnered with. She loves this partner with me narrative.
Partnered with our campaign. They allowed us to put our signs out. And yesterday, we actually came out, put the signs out. And of course, someone sent, is it a medium height, light-skinned guy that was actually caught on camera still in the sign. So we see you. We got you on camera. So yeah, so we invite you to come out again today. The police report has already been filed. Yeah, listen. We all can campaign, but let's do it the right way. We don't need to be stealing signs and doing all that crazy stuff. Rebuilding Dalton, the Parker House in Jordan, the Marshall Lee Harrison, for trustee. So, for those of you that want to come out and steal signs, point to that camera over there. Smile, you are on candid camera. And we got a full image of the young man that was caught taking the signs up. All right, peace out. How you doing?
You running, girl. Hey, girl. So there's a rally at the Village Town Hall on Sunday.
I'll be there.
Bring 5 people with you.
I'll be in Dalton 92.
Come on here.
I done seen the up, the
Look, she
down.
thought Jason won.
No.
I was like, he didn't win. He won the primary.
No, he did not win.
Wow.
Yeah. Hold up.
I love the city. I did.
That's okay.
But you know what? I don't have a problem with it though.
That's what I was
She
telling her.
comes so much to Donna we have had in age. Even though whatever person shit moves.
This little exchange right here, I think is...
All right, guys, we about to sign out. We out here campaigning. As you see, a lot of people came out to support us. We're going to be rallying Sunday at 1 o'clock up at the Village Hall. So all of you that know anyone that wants to be a part of it, make sure you all show up. Make sure you all show up. Celebrate someone else coming down. You got to understand there's people in the waiting on you to come down. So let's just be clear of that. So yeah, but no, he is not the mayor of Dalton. He just won the primary. But let's talk about the numbers. I'm just a firm believer, like the numbers, they were not all Jason House supporters. You got to understand how people come together for one common goal. And the common goal was to get rid of Tiffany. So a lot of people came out to vote against her, not meaning that those votes were actually for Jason House. As I stated, all of you guys, you started out with her. You ran on her ticket. You endorsed her. You know, there's videos where you guys had private secret squirrel meetings up at the village. I'll post a video later of the young man that called all the trustees. I'm Cassandra Hobson-Jordan, and I decided this year to throw my hat into the race because over the past 16 years that I've lived in this village, I've been here amongst 4 different administrations, and I've yet to see no change other than things have gotten worse. So I've decided that it's time for change. It's time for something new. Time out for all this politics and politicians and get some real people in office that's willing to do the work, that's going to do the work of the time I spent there, the time I've lived there, and to get to know a lot of the people, a lot of the neighbors and things of that nature. A lot of people really do love where they live. A lot of people have worked hard, they've sacrificed, they're paid for their homes, they're ready to retire, they're ready to enjoy life. And I don't think it's fair to put all this hard work, time, and energy into a space, and then someone comes along and just like literally rips it out from up under you. I mean, what sense does it make to work for years, to pay taxes, to pay a mortgage, to get the mortgage paid off, and now you're ready to kind of relax, and down here comes a large tax bill because you got politicians in office that's, I'm going to say it, just greedy, you know, constantly filling their pockets, not really concerned about the people. And now here you have a tax bill that's literally like another mortgage. You know, when you hit a certain area in life, you're like, okay, house is paid off. I know I have this tax bill, but I don't want a tax bill that's so high to the point that all this hard work and sacrifice that you did to pay this house off, now you can't even afford it because the taxes are so high. Now, I've been there for 16 years, and I'm going to be honest, I really haven't seen much anything that anyone has really done, to be honest with you. It's like when I really sit and ponder on this thing and look at the Shaw administration, the Raleigh administration, now the Henry administration, and I'm like, the most I've seen was, okay, a skating rink was built, but it's not for the people. But of course, the people paid for it. I've seen some of the row houses built for veterans, and I really take offense to that because I'm a veteran myself.
Thank you for your service.
And you too as well, you know, shipmate.
All right.
And I'm thinking, if you're going to build a home for veterans, actually put veterans in there. I find it really offensive because when we served our time, while you slept at night, we're spending those 12 to 16-hour watches guarding the country so you can rest well at night. But you build an entity for the veterans, but the veterans are not in it. So I find it to be very offensive, and I just find it to be downright cruel.
Listen, guys.
Let me ask you a question. And if you live in Dalton, let me know who's doing that.
I'm going to reiterate. If you are confident in your candidate, it does not take all of the stealing signs and the slander and all the crazy stuff. Just
Okay. Because you're talking about 3 different things.
in your candidate. You know, you guys are really pissing off the residents by going on their properties and stealing the signs off and doing crazy stuff. What you're
Like
really
what?
doing, you're pushing more votes my way by doing stuff like that. So,
That's the cope.
word to the wise. Stop with the foolishness.
That's the cope.
Because if you're confident in who you are and confident in what you know, it doesn't take all of that. You don't see me out stealing signs and doing all kind of crazy stuff.
We don't actually see you at all.
You know, you guys are really pissing off the residents.
Why not stop by and give us some policies?
Piss off the residents. Who do you think they're going to vote for? That you
Not
keep
you.
on their property, stealing stuff. Think about it. Stop with the foolishness. Can we mature and grow up? Like, seriously. That's all I got for you on today.
It's like having surgery, cutting out cancer, but then you leave a small portion of the cancer in. So now that you have gotten rid of a chunk of the cancer, now people, we got to go back in and do surgery and get rid of all the cancer.
Okay.
And you leave House and his people in there because they're all part of the same team. And I don't give a flying who don't like it. And if you're going to come over and lurk and go back on your YouTube pages, men, women that want to be men that want to be women, or however you want to put it. Yes, I said it. Yeah, we at that point right there. At the end of the day, it's time to clean the whole house. It makes no sense to get rid of her and then you leave behind the rest of the poison.
I don't know. I have no idea what she's ranting about.
These Democrats has ran Illinois into the ground. And I know a lot of you all are diehard Democrats because my grandmother was a Democrat, my mama was a Democrat, and this is how I voted. When I tell you, these folks are so crooked, so corrupt, it is unbelievable. I believe a lot of them will hell sell their mama for $1. I do believe that. So
I'll tell you this. I've heard this as well. And I'm
over. So now that you guys have gotten rid of Tiffany, now it's time to get rid of House. It's time for him to go. Because I don't believe with my whole heart that he is good for this village. A lot of you all have been groomed to think that they have been the good guys, that they have been fighting. Well, hell, they the ones started the fight and created the fight. Keep recycling the same old politicians. Y'all are some of the most unlearned, uninformed people ever. You listen to all this YouTube narrative and all this crazy stuff. Get to know people for yourselves. Get to check out their real character. Most of you all don't even know Jason House. You just going off what the YouTubers are feeding you.
Is
the money well spent. They paid them to paint the narrative. And a lot of you all went right along with it, not researching.
Wait, they paid somebody? Hold on now.
Not figuring this stuff out for yourself. As I said in that meeting, stop just going along with the narrative of things. And you have to be careful. You annihilated one person, but guess what you just did? You just left the door open, but now the cover's to be pulled off of you, sir. Because you're not clean either. You ain't clean. I don't care how you try to come off all silent and modest. The devil is a lie. You just as crooked as the one that you just got rid of. Now it's time to get all of the cancer out. Why leave it in so it can grow? Exactly. People work too hard for their houses. People work too hard for what they get. To let these politicians just sit up and make a decision over your life. They're hollering, oh, we want the good residents to get involved. Well, God damn it, I am involved. I'm running for mayor. Guess what? I'm running to make a true change. I ain't got no hidden agenda. I ain't got no unnecessary promises and all this stuff. I ain't promising nobody nothing. Only thing I promise is to do a good job and to clean the whole house, to get rid of all of this corruption. So I'm ready for the fight. Bring it on. It is what it is. But we gotta do better, people. We gotta do better. These Democrats is running you all into the ground, and you all keep voting and putting them in. Look at the mayor in Riverdale. He has an actual indictment waiting to be sentenced. And these ignorant folks put him right back in office. And talk about, oh, we want to change. We as black people are so gullible because somebody come bring you a turkey or a loaf of bread. You think that is community service. Well, they bringing you stuff that your taxes have already paid for. Like, make it make sense. When I sat down and looked at the thing with the taxes, the amount of money that us taxpayers are paying out, a lot of these positions, I don't even think people are actually even feel these positions. But when you look at that tax bill and you look at the amount of money that's going out, I don't even have kids in the school system. Why am I paying taxes for Riverdale schools? I live in Dalton. Why? But this is the way they have this stuff set up. And then you get a tax bill, $5,000 and $6,000. The average person cannot afford that. When your mortgage then jumped from $1,500 to $2,500, that's a lot of money. And then you are constantly getting these phone calls from these investors because it's a land grab. They say, you know what? Investors like, all right, let them ignorant bammers, let them continue.
I'm sorry. So
I'm out here at one of the polling places. So for those of you that has not voted yet, this is the last day. This is the actual election day. And as you can see, my opponent is out here with the firefighters. And I said it's interesting how they come out in politics, but we have fire hydrants that I've been on my block for 17 years that has never been serviced. But they can come out in politics, and I want them to come over so bad so I can ask them, when do you service the fire hydrant? I've seen all the firefighters out here politicking, which they probably shouldn't be, endorsing their candidate. But if you ask them when was the last time they serviced the fire hydrants, they couldn't answer it. But they want to make sure their contracts get signed so they can get their pensions and their money. But never seen them in the community. The 17 years I've been on my block, I've never seen them come service a fire hydrant, ever. But they want to make sure they get their bids in. So they make sure they get those contracts and they make sure they keep their pensions, but yet fail to do their jobs.
Ally used nearly identical reasoning to try to get one of the candidates running against Tenured in the Dalton mayoral race off the ballot. Cassandra Hobson George.
Are you willing to bring the businesses in? Are you willing to help the residents out? Are you willing to bring your resources in to help us out? And the answer is no, I'm not. Mm-hmm. Because we're at a point that whoever you elect, we have to start holding our elected officials accountable. Mm-hmm. So whoever you vote for, I'm sorry, they're going to have to get the job done.
Right.
The way they carried out, with all the slander, with all the negativity, with all of the bad behavior, I mean, they attack me, they attack family, you know, all the stuff over the internet, the way some of the residents have spoken to me. And I'm saying to myself, as mean and as nasty as you have been to me, why would I help you? Mm-hmm. You know, I might would consider it if their actions were different. But because of their actions, I'm like, no, you don't get my resources. I'm sorry. Whoever you elect, they're going to have to step up to the plate and handle their business. Jason House, go help. You take your ass over there and help him out. He don't get my resources.
Yeah.
Well, so you got what you asked for. Yeah. So yeah, you shouldn't expect anything from me. You got what you asked for. At the meeting, what my bullhorn creating the same type of chaos that his supporters created. Oh yeah, I will be there.
I don't mean to
because I'm going to hold your ass accountable. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make sure you do everything that you said you were going to do.
All right. Somebody said you haven't voted.
It doesn't matter because I don't just give my vote to just anyone. Because I do my research.
Okay.
I voted. And I don't give my vote to just any politician. When I do my research and I don't like what I see, then you don't get my vote. It's as simple as that. I did not like what they were bringing to the table, so therefore you don't get my vote. So whoever asked that question, I'm gonna need you to get past that. Get past it. You'll be okay. It is retarded. It's backwards. It's dumb. It's stupid. It's ignorant. You keep putting in the same people and expecting a different result. Get over it. Say freedom of speech, right? I'm free to say what I want to say. I ain't talking down on others. I'm stating the fact. I'm stating the fact. If you keep doing the same exact thing and expecting a different result, it is dumb. It is stupid. It's crazy.
Conscious, you attempted to talk about Lady Luck's sexuality? She did? I didn't hear that. How would you feel if someone addressed your daughter's sexuality?
Listen, you can address whatever you want to address.
I didn't hear that, Knowles. I didn't. I heard Lady Luck and Trina was on, and it all went.
I'm curious to see business is coming
about herself. I didn't take that as sexuality. I didn't. Let's see. She definitely talked about Lady Luck sexuality.
Yeah, you listen. Yeah, I talked about Lady Luck because Lady Luck talked a lot about me and don't even know me. So guess what? I said April the 2nd is on. Yeah. So since she's been so concerned about Cassandra Hopkins Jordan, so now let me talk about her. Yeah.
About her sexuality? I don't know her sexuality. Okay.
I'm not. You saying you guys. Have I ever said anything to you?
I've heard it all.
Have I ever said anything to you?
I've heard it all. Even with your nasty looks, I've heard it all. Even,
so now we're
when I
talking
first
about
started
looks.
in the campaign.
That wouldn't have changed the 152 votes you got.
Okay, thank you.
Forget about what you hear on social media. Forget about what you see on the internet. Get to know me for who I am. Sit down and have a conversation with me. I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide. Yeah, I'm an open book.
My next question, I have to ask you this. The meetings can be a bit wild sometimes. Do you go to the meetings? If so, why or why not?
I go to the meetings, but I'm the type of person, I like to be productive. I don't like my time wasted. Because one thing about time, and I'm getting older, you got to maximize every moment. So when I go to these meetings, and a lot of times I feel like they're a waste of time because you get nothing accomplished. So sometimes it's like, I'd rather have a hammer in my hand or I'd rather have my chef jacket on. I'd rather be producing, you know. So I'll go to the meetings, but when it's not productive, I can find something else to be doing. Yeah, I'd rather come out and cut the grass of the whole block than to be sitting in a meeting and watching them argue and fight back and forth and point the finger, and at the end of the meeting, nothing gets accomplished.
And then who suffers?
The residents. When I'm in the car, I'm there at the house. I'm getting it done because that's just the type of person I am. I'm military. You know, we don't just sit around and we go out in the field and we get it done.
What branch?
Navy.
How many years?
I was in 6 years. I did 4 reserve and then I finished out, 4 active, and then I finished out with the reserve. I was in doing the Gulf War.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome. So after that Gulf War, I'm like, you know, I love my country, but I love me more.
So, okay, I get phone calls yesterday. I get phone calls left and right from people leaving messages, asking questions with their concerns about things that's going on in the village. You guys voted otherwise. So since you voted otherwise, I will not step in the way of your elected officials. You guys are going to have to go to these meetings. You guys are going to have to ask them the questions that you are asking me. I am not your mayor. You did not elect me as your mayor. So therefore, your concerns and no hard feelings are not my concerns. So whatever issues that you guys have, you guys are going to have to take this up at the meetings when they have the monthly meetings. You're going to have to go ask your trustees. You're going to have to go ask your mayor. All of that good stuff, the questions that you're asking me, because I don't have any answers for you, and I don't care to have any answers for you. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, the village of Delton is no longer my concern or my issue. Now, yesterday, there was an incident where there was a new neighbors that moved in. And the neighbors have this huge pit bull that they let freely walk around. Now, I saw the guy literally let the dog out the house, and he goes in the house, and he looks back at the dog, and he tells the dog, stay, sit. Now, anybody in their right mind and common sense know that if you leave a dog outside, they're not just going to sit in the yard, they're going to roam around. I've seen this dog, like, literally chase people down, like, in straight attack mode. So, certain neighbors that I know, you know, now, listen, and I'm saying everybody is not going to be for you. I knew some were going to vote for me and some voted for House. But here's my thing, and here's my philosophy. If you voted for the other candidate, you don't get to call me, my phone, and bog me down with your issues and your concerns. You get to call your elected official. So everybody's calling me about the dogs. People are sending me pictures about certain houses on their blocks, asking me if I would post the pictures of the house or do a video concerning these houses, because they want to know what is going to happen with these houses, what's going to happen with the issues with the dogs and things running loose. And I'm like, this is my response and my answer. Call your elected officials. These are the people that you pay to sit in office. These are the people that you pay to correct the problems and correct the situations. This is no longer an issue for me or no longer my concern. And I'm just being honest with you all. And I don't give a flying how anybody feels about it. I'm a resident, working, doing what I do, minding my business. Like I said, I do my head in the race and try to help the people in the village. You all didn't want the help, so deal with your choice. Because you guys got to stop making these choices, and then they don't live up to your expectations, and now you're back mad at the world again. So no, baby, you don't have to deal with your choices. But anyway, get back to the story with the dog. Now, I'm watching this dog literally chase neighbors down. And so I called the police. I said, all right, let me call the police department and have them to go give the neighbor a warning and let them know, or either give them a citation and let them know that you cannot have this dog running loose. I called the police department. And the dispatcher tells me, oh, well, the Delton police, you know, they're understaffed and they got other more major issues that they have to deal with. What's more major than a damn dog mauling a human being to death? So I call back again. This is 10, 15 minutes later, and I'm standing here watching this dog just run rampant. And I'm making loud noise, hoping that the neighbor would have enough common sense to come outside and get the dog. Now, the way the fence is made, the dog just walks in and out of the fence. So if you're going to put the dog in the yard, at least put some form of chain or something up, whereas the dog cannot get out of the gate. So I'm watching the dog go in and out the gate, in and out of people's yard, up and down the side of their houses. Everybody that gets out of a car or people that walks down the block, the dog is like approaching them and running towards them, charging them. So as I said, I called the police department. It was like, okay, well, we'll get someone to come out. I know this is 10, 15 minutes later. I call back again. And so the lady tells me, well, you know, they're understaffed, which is not my problem.
I mean, this is why we pay taxes. Then you hire enough fucking police officers to be able to man whatever it is that you need to man. I don't want to hear about we don't have enough police officers. That is not our problem. This is why we pay taxes. And then she goes to say, well, you know, they have more important stuff that they have to handle. So I had to say to the lady, I said, listen, and I'm quite sure you know who I am. You recognize my number, you recognize my name, and you know that I just literally ran for mayor. So here's my philosophy. If I don't see a police officer out here on this block within the next 5 to 10 minutes, I'm gonna have every fucking news media known to man on this block, and I'll let them videotape the fucking dog eating somebody alive. So because I had to put it in that form, then guess what? Here's the police showing up on the block, knocking on the neighbor's door, and I'm like, and I don't even give them a warning. He'll be ready to write out a citation because you don't now allow a freaking pit bull just to be running loose. But then when you got someone like Gina walking around with a golf club because you got fucking pit bulls running loose, then you want to call the woman crazy. Now I'm literally sitting here watching the dog just run up and down the block, damn nearly trying to maul anybody that they would come in contact with. But this is the type of stuff we're talking about. So now people want to ask me, well, why don't we have animal control? Well, that's a question from Mr. House, Mrs. Belcher, Mrs. Norwood, Mrs. Roman, Mr. Holmes, and Mr. Brown, or Tammy, whatever her name is. That's a question for your elected officials. See, we got to stop voting people in, and then we're back to business as usual. Now people are asking about the houses. Well, what are they going to do about the houses? Well, hell, I don't know, and honestly, I don't care. I had a solution to fix those houses. You guys didn't want it. You said you wanted Clean House 2025. So here's the thing. Stop calling my phone, because I don't have answers for you. And hell, listen, that's not my headache. That's not my problem. I am at peace over here. So listen, if I decide that I want to do a video about the houses, then I'll continue to do videos about the houses. But in the meantime, what you residents need to do, you need to go to the meetings, and you need to have your questions written down, and you need to make these people be held accountable. Now, some of the people that I talk with, I had to ask the question, why did you vote for it? Well, you know, because, and here's the number one thing. Well, you know, they were fighting against Tiffany. You know, they were, you know, and now we want to know, why isn't she in jail? Well, what has she been charged with? This is the question you all have to ask. I said, you all went off of that narrative that the trustees and we're just fighting against Tiffany. Everything is about Tiffany. And now you guys have real issues and real concerns. So Tiffany is no longer in the picture. Now what? So you're going to have to ask your elected officials to go to those meetings and ask them, what are they planning to do about the issues that you guys have? This is what your tax dollars is paying for. But you don't get to call my phone. You don't get to be blowing my phone up. You don't get to be asking me, you know, what is wrong with this? Then I had some people call, well, we saw that he put the sign up. We saw that he put his name up. Well, you got to ask him that, because I'm wondering how you put a sign up and you haven't even been sworn in as a mayor. But you're putting signs up saying that you're the mayor. You could die before you get sworn in as mayor. Like, you can't wait until you actually get sworn in and then start changing out stuff. So ask them how much of your tax dollars paid for them new signs, whatever. These are questions that I don't have answers for, and I don't care to research and get answers for. You guys are going to have to ask your elected officials. Go to the meetings. Ask those questions. Address your concerns. As I had stated before, it makes no sense for businesses to come into the community and they're not paying their fair share of taxes, or they're not paying into the pot. But it's okay for the residents to go to these businesses and patronize them and spend their money with them, but then they don't put money back into the pot. Now, a lot of these businesses, if they go into the white folks' neighborhoods, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be paying those taxes because those communities want that money coming back into those communities. But only in the black folks area, you allow all these people to come in, you give them Class 8s, you give them tax breaks, they're not paying into the system, and folks are showing me their tax bill. I don't want to see a tax bill. This is an issue with the county clerk. This is an issue with your elected officials. It is no longer my concern. I sleep good at night. I don't have that deficit over my head. I don't have to deal with nagging residents. I don't have to go to those meetings, hear all you all's complaints and issues. I just don't. When I sign on to do it, you all say, we don't want your services. So what do you expect me to do? I'm a resident just like you are. So I want to sit back and see what they are planning on doing as far as bringing this village out of debt, improving the village, getting rid of all these dilapidated houses, and building this community back up. So these are questions for your elected officials. Now, the only reason why I called about the dog, because I have a family, and they come in and out of the house, and I don't want to see the dog attacking any one of them. But when you see issues like this and whatnot, you don't get to come knock on my door. You call your elected officials. You go up to that damn village and you ask them questions. You ask them how are they going to rectify this situation and rectify this issue. But it's a poor piss community when you got the dispatcher telling us, well, we don't have enough officers, and you know, they're busy dealing with other issues. And I shouldn't have to threaten them to the point that I got the news media on speed dial, because I do have all their numbers, and I could have had them out on the block less than 20 minutes or an hour or whatever the case is. But I shouldn't have to threaten them with the news media in order for them to get an officer to come out and rectify a situation. Like, this is crazy. But this is the stuff you all keep doing. You keep voting in the same people and expecting a different result. And then you have the nerve to get an attitude when I say it's dumb, it's stupid, it's ignorant to keep recycling the same people. And then when I ask the question, what have they produced? You can't even get an answer. All you can say is, well, you know, they was fighting against Tiffany. You based your whole campaign on people hating Tiffany. And now when you talk to these residents, all they talk about is, well, they said Tiffany did this, Tiffany did that. Well, I'm saying to you, did you do your research? You keep asking me, why isn't Tiffany in jail? That's a question you ask Jason House. That's a question you ask Kiana Belcher. That's a question you ask Brittany Norwood. That's a question you ask Tammy Brown. That's a question you ask Stan Brown. That's a question you ask Andrew Holmes. I am not in that position.
I don't have the answers. They have the answers. They created this fight. They created this narrative. I'm going to go even further. Ask the YouTubers that convinced you all to vote for Clean House 2025. You guys listened to all that foolishness. You bought into that narrative. Now you dealing with a situation and now you want answers. Well, you got a meeting coming up. Go to the meetings, raise hell, and ask those questions. Those are questions, once again, and I'm going to keep saying it for your elected officials. I am no longer in this fight. I no longer care to be in the fight. Because when I was in the fight, you said you did not want me as your mayor. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm sorry that you guys are going through what you are going through. You know, at the end of the day, my house is paid for. I made sure my house was paid for years ago. A lot of you all, you still got mortgages. You got these high taxes. And even for some of these seniors, you know, some of these seniors' tax bill went up. But they are on fixed incomes. A lot of them are retired. They don't have extra money coming in. A lot of them have illnesses. They can't go get a part-time job to help offset that bill. So I don't know what to tell you. So listen, get at that meeting. Get in Mr. House's ass. He wanted to be the mayor so bad. They created this narrative. They created this drama. So guess what? Let them give you answers. Because at this point, that ain't my problem. Now, I'm sorry about the dogs running around. I'm sorry about the dilapidated houses. I'm sorry about businesses not coming in. I'm sorry about all that. But I tried to get in the fight and help you all. You all didn't want the help, so I don't know what to tell you. But you don't get to call me and ask me to help solve a problem when I tried to help solve the problem and you chose someone else. And I don't give a flying when anybody can say, listen, honey, I'm not salty. I'm not any of that. I woke up the next day like, you know what? God is good. I don't have this issue to deal with. This is no longer my problem. I offered to help. So no, I'm busy doing me, baby. I'm busy making my money doing what I do. At the end of the day, my house is paid for. It's paid for. I don't have that problem. I just worry about my taxes and that's that. So I feel sorry for the people that has a mortgage. You got insurance, you got taxes, you got all this stuff coming at you. And it's no joke when your bill is going up anywhere from $300 to $600 more a month, and you don't have that extra income coming in. And it's, you know, it ain't nobody just easily going out here hiring 40s, 50s, and 60-year-olds, just giving them part-time jobs like that. Napoleon, call them other trustees, call all the people that was in the clique, call them and see if they could help you or give you some assistance. That's what the township is for. See if you can get some assistance. I don't know what to tell you, but that ain't no longer my problem. It's no longer my issue. Yeah. So that's all I want to share with you all. So for those of you dying for more content, and let me say this. I'm not giving anyone permission to use my video to make it look like I've done an interview with you, because I have not done an interview with you. So I'm just putting that out there. And if I see it, we're going to have a problem. But anyway, at the end of the day, I'm on my way to go make my money, doing what it is that I do. And you all have a good day. But residents, listen, hold your elected officials accountable. Dust to settle, reality has kicked in. And now they want to know, what are they going to do? Hell, go find them at the bar that they be hanging out and drinking with. Go have a drink with them and ask them the questions. If you can't make the meeting, hell, meet them at the bar. I don't know what to tell you. But y'all, listen, you cannot be calling my phone. You cannot be, sending me questions. And what about this? And what are we going to do about this? And what are we going to do about that? Are you willing to still continue to fight for us? No, I am not. You don't get to not vote for me and then still expect me to fight for you. Come on, y'all crazy. What's wrong with y'all? I'm not doing that. No, you're going to let your elected officials fight for you. You're going to let the people you voted for fight for you, because that's what you voted for. So get them clothes on, get to those meetings. Or hell, whatever the name of their bar is that they all like to go to and drink, show up at the bar, hell, have a drink with them and ask them those questions. But I don't know what to tell you. So, and I'm at peace over here. And this is all I got to say about this, and this is all I'm going to say. Now, if I decide to make videos about the other houses, then I'll do it at my own leisure. But it's not a mandate. I'm not concerned with that. My life has continued and going on, and I'm busy doing what it is that I'm doing. So, I don't know what to tell y'all.
Recently, just a few days ago, and as I'm laying there in the bed, and I start dreaming that I'm in the house with my family, with the kids and everything. We're preparing, getting ready to go to bed. Everything is beautiful. Everything is wonderful. Then it's just like out of nowhere, all these men, they bust in, and they breaks in the house. They went after the adults. They were after the children. I said, well, God, what does the children represent to me in this dream? He said, the children represent you all, my children, that the enemy is after. And even in the midst of that, when the men broke in and they start going after the kids, and their job was to specifically go after the children and the things of the children. We were outside. So when we finally get outside of the house, it was just a lot of chaos going on. And you could hear a bunch of dogs barking. Now, if anybody knows anything concerning dreams, dogs represents warlocks. So there were all these dogs that were just barking. I mean, you could hear them from miles away. I mean, now, if you anybody, I love the fur babies, I love dogs. But certain dogs, I ain't fooling with. When it comes to those Dobermans, those Rottweilers, the German Shepherds, the Pit Bulls, now unless I get them as a baby and can mold them to my characteristic, I ain't fooling with them. Because certain dogs, they got certain characteristics. They were born that way, they were breathed that way. And this wasn't the sound of like no Chihuahua or no Shih Tzu barking. You're talking about big hound dogs, big wolf dogs. I mean, you could just hear the woof, woof. I mean, they were barking. And they were barking so to the point where it's like my chest, I'm sleeping, I can just feel my chest, my adrenaline pumping, and I can feel myself, on the outside running in the midst of this chaos. So it's like as we came to a head, and then it's like all the people start scattering and come around the corner, there's one big gray hound dog. I mean, it was gray and white, it was like a big hound. And the dog stopped in the middle of the street, and it looked directly at me, like eye contact. Like, it could have been anybody, but it's like once it came around the corner from chasing the people, and it's like when it got right there to that point, the dog looked at me. I said, all right. Then the scene jumped. As the dog looked at me, there were cars coming. Now, anybody know anything about a dream? A car represents destination. Because we know when we get in a car, you don't drive in reverse, right? You drive forward. You go in when you get in a car. Because when we get in a car, our mindset is that we are going to a destination. We don't drive on the street in reverse. So the car represents going forward. And then it know that dogs represent warlock. It stopped in the middle of the road. Its eyes locked directly on me. I looked at it.
Hold on.
Top of the car. Now stay with me because I'm going somewhere because God gave me a
Jump
revelation.
on the car now.
And I jumped on top of the car. And when I jumped on top of the car, the guy that was in the car, I looked back at him. Now, I'm on top of the hood of the car. The car is still running, traffic is going, people are running everywhere, and these men are still after the children. Their goal is... The guy that was driving, I took my hand and I started patting on the window. I said, drive. And he just looked like he was startled. And all you had to do was take your car and run the dog over.